Imagine this: you're cooking breakfast, flipping eggs in a slick non-stick pan with barely a drop of oil, proud of how easy it is to clean up. It's a scene repeated in millions of kitchens every morning. But what if that convenience came at a hidden cost, something so small you cannot see it, yet powerful enough to mess with your ability to have children or even harm your brain over time? A recent investigation has uncovered troubling evidence that the very coating making your cooking effortless might be quietly invading your body, and scientists are now sounding the alarm. For decades, non-stick cookware has been celebrated as a kitchen miracle. No more stuck-on food, no need for butter or oil, and cleanup takes seconds. The magic lies in a synthetic material known for its slippery surface, one that repels water, grease, and almost everything else. But that same durability becomes a problem once it starts breaking down. Tiny particles from the coating can flake off into food, especially when pans are scratched or overheated. And because these particles do not break down naturally, they linger, not just in the environment, but inside human bodies. Researchers analyzing tissue samples found traces of these synthetic fragments in nearly half of male reproductive systems tested. That means in many cases, these foreign materials had made their way past the digestive tract, entered the bloodstream, and settled in sensitive areas where they do not belong. Once inside, they appear to interfere with the delicate process of sperm production. Sperm cells develop through a highly orchestrated series of steps, relying on precise genetic instructions and stable cellular environments. But these invasive particles seem to throw a wrench into the works. In laboratory animals exposed to the same type of particles, scientists observed a sharp decline in sperm health. The cells moved slower, showed abnormal shapes, and in some cases stopped developing altogether. One reason appears to be interference with a key protein responsible for giving sperm the ability to swim. Without that protein functioning properly, fertility drops significantly. Even more concerning, the particles disrupted the way chromosomes pair up during cell division, a fundamental process that ensures healthy genetic transfer from parent to child. When this goes wrong, it can lead to infertility or developmental issues in offspring. But the reproductive system may not be the only target. Emerging data suggest these tiny invaders can travel beyond the gut and cross into places once thought protected, including the brain. Using advanced imaging and chemical tracing, researchers detected the presence of similar synthetic particles in neural tissue. Once there, they interact with proteins involved in maintaining nerve cell function. Some of these proteins are already linked to neurodegenerative conditions like Parkinson's disease. When disturbed by foreign materials, nerve cells begin to show signs of stress, inflammation, and premature aging. In animal models, exposure led to faster deterioration of motor control and cognitive performance, symptoms eerily similar to early-stage neurological decline. What makes this situation especially tricky is how invisible the threat feels. You cannot smell it, taste it, or see it happening. The damage unfolds slowly, over years, possibly without any immediate symptoms. By the time problems arise, difficulty conceiving, unexplained fatigue, memory lapses, the connection to something as mundane as a frying pan may never occur to most people. Yet the evidence is building that everyday choices in the kitchen could be contributing to broader health trends, from declining sperm counts across populations to rising rates of brain disorders. One reason these particles are so persistent is their chemical structure. Designed to resist heat, corrosion, and sticking, they are built to last. Unfortunately, that resilience does not stop once they leave the pan. They survive digestion, evade breakdown by enzymes, and circulate through the body like unwelcome guests who refuse to leave. Over time, they accumulate, particularly in organs with high blood flow or fat content, liver, kidneys, brain, and reproductive tissues. Because they do not dissolve in water and resist natural degradation, they can remain in the body for months or even years, continuously interacting with cells and proteins. The issue extends beyond just cookware. These materials are found in countless household items, stain-resistant fabrics, waterproof clothing, food packaging, and cleaning products. But the kitchen remains a primary exposure point, especially during cooking. High heat, abrasive scrubbing, and metal utensils all accelerate the breakdown of non-stick surfaces. Even gentle use over time leads to microscopic wear, releasing particles too small to see but capable of causing biological disruption. And since most people use the same pans for years, often without realizing they are damaged, exposure can be constant and cumulative. Despite the growing body of evidence, regulatory action has been slow. Partly because much of the research comes from animal studies or controlled lab environments, officials often call for more human data before making sweeping changes. But scientists argue that waiting for undeniable proof in humans could mean missing a critical window to prevent widespread harm. The patterns seen in animals are consistent and alarming, and the biological mechanisms make sense. Why wait until fertility rates drop further or neurological diseases increase before taking precaution? So what can be done? The good news is that safer alternatives exist and have been used for generations. Cast iron pans, for example, develop a natural non-stick surface when properly seasoned and can last decades with care. Ceramic-coated pots and pans offer a slick finish without the same chemical risks. Stainless steel is durable, inert, and does not release particles under normal cooking conditions. Even glass and enamel options provide safe surfaces for baking and heating food. These materials may require a bit more attention, like using a little oil or soaking pans after use, but they do not come with hidden trade-offs. Equally important is how we treat our existing cookware. Avoiding metal scrapers, using wooden or silicone tools, and replacing pans once they show signs of wear can drastically reduce exposure. Many people keep non-stick pans long after they start flaking, not knowing the risks. A simple rule of thumb: if the surface looks scratched, dull, or peeling, it is time to let it go. Also, never heat an empty non-stick pan or crank the stove to high temperatures. Overheating can cause the coating to break down rapidly, releasing fumes and particles even without physical damage. Public awareness is starting to shift. More consumers are asking questions about what their cookware is made of and demanding transparency from manufacturers. Some brands are responding by developing new coatings free from the most problematic chemicals. But regulation remains patchy, and labeling can be misleading. Terms like eco-friendly or green are often used without clear standards. That is why education matters. Knowing what to look for, and what to avoid, can empower people to make better choices without sacrificing convenience. This is not about fearmongering or throwing out every modern convenience. It is about recognizing that progress often comes with unintended consequences. The same innovation that made cooking easier may also be contributing to silent health challenges. And while one scratched pan will not doom anyone's fertility or trigger a brain disease, the cumulative effect of daily exposures across a lifetime, and across entire populations, could be significant. The human body is remarkably resilient, but it was not designed to handle synthetic materials that do not belong. Every system, from reproduction to cognition, relies on balance, precision, and protection from outside interference. When foreign substances sneak in and start disrupting those processes, even subtly, the results can ripple outward in ways we are only beginning to understand. So next time you reach for that trusty frying pan, take a moment to look closely at its surface. Is it still smooth? Does it reflect light evenly? Or are there signs of wear, tiny scratches, patches where the coating has worn thin? That pan might be doing more than just cooking your food. It might be leaving behind something far more lasting, something your body does not know how to handle. The choices we make in the kitchen matter more than we think. Not just for taste or nutrition, but for the long-term health of our bodies and future generations. As science continues to peel back the layers of modern living, it is becoming clear that true convenience is not measured by how easy something is to clean, but by how safely it lets us live. And sometimes, the safest option is also the simplest, one that cooks well, lasts long, and leaves nothing behind but good meals and happy memories. If you found this eye-opening, you're not alone. More and more people are starting to question the hidden costs of everyday convenience, and what we're learning might just change the way we cook for good. If you want to protect your health and your family's future, it could be time to take a closer look at what's in your kitchen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a story that matters. Because sometimes, the biggest threats aren't the ones we see coming, they're the ones right under our noses, sizzling on the stove. Stay curious, stay informed, and most of all, stay safe. Thanks for watching.